I was asked to comment on an IGN editorial by one of my viewers, and the editorial was written on IGN by Brian Campbell. And the article is named "Is Nintendo to Blame for Gaming's Drop?" And I know the article sounds sensationalistic and it sounds anti-Nintendo, but it's kind of meant to be an attention-grabbing title. And I understand the concern, but especially lately with all the sort of the doomers, I'm going to call them, talking about how Nintendo's market share is shrinking with the 3DS compared to the smartphone and tablet market, and how I don't know, the Wii U won't be able to repeat the success of the Wii. When you have a lot of those articles coming out, you sort of start to expect anything with a title like that's going to be negative towards Nintendo. But what the article actually is about, it's really pointing out that Nintendo is actually carried the growth of for the last few years, and the fact that the Wii and Nintendo DS, which are record-breaking successes, are nearing the end of their life cycle. The sales of Wii are starting to pick up, thanks to Skyward Sword, but the because of those systems are at the end of their lifespans, the growth there, this the systems sold in the same time period is diminishing. And what the article also points out is that basically Nintendo is establishing the 3DS and Wii U to also potentially single-handedly carry growth in the eighth generation. And Nintendo's even in the sixth generation, when the GameCube had the least market share, in 2004 and 2005, they were really providing a lot of the growth in the console space, especially right before the PS2 price drop in 2004. From 2004 to 2003, Nintendo basically carried all the growth compared to the previous year. So Nintendo, even when they're like have the least market share, they know how to expand their own business, and that reflects good on the market. Because when you have like the situation before the Wii launch, when you had the NES, when the NES was only the only system, really the biggest system on the market, and then in 2005, you have three consoles with nearly the same installed user base, and Nintendo's like, we can't keep growing as a business if we're going to have the same number of people spread across three systems as we had back when Nintendo was the only game in town. So uh, the really, it's not as bad as it sounds. The article's pretty good if you read it the right way. If you don't read it expecting to be offended, and basically um, don't try to don't worry too much about the people who say negative things about Nintendo, because a lot of them just don't like Nintendo, and that's their right and that's their opinion. And a lot of them are speculating like, oh, can Nintendo hang on? Uh, a lot of the some of the comments they make are pretty reasonable, and a lot of them they just don't have the full picture. I I'm not saying I have the full picture, but I have feelings, and I have good feelings about how Nintendo plans to run their business in the future. And I know I get real like in the last couple of videos I got like really like militant and really hardcore, like I'm rallying, like I'm making some military speech or something. But that I meant what I said, but keep in mind that is somewhat tongue in cheek as well, because I want to be I want to provide a strong voice for Nintendo fans that, but I also want to provide like a reasonable, sane voice for Nintendo fans. So don't take certain, don't take the, you know, rah, we're gonna get them. Nintendo has the bomb. Don't take that too seriously, even though I do in fact mean it, and because it's really just about playing the games and having fun. So that's what I have to say about that editorial, and thank you very much for watching.